Hi, I'm S.G. Redling, author of Flower Town, and this is Kindle Most Wanted. Very excited to be here with Chercover, author of The Trinity Game.
Thanks for having me. This is great.
Excited because we're talking about one of my favorite topics, conspiracies.
Oh, yeah.
Conspiracy theories, are they real, are they not? What is it about conspiracies, not just for writers, but for readers, for everyone, that are so alluring?
Well, I think that people are two extreme categories. One group of people embraces conspiracies wholeheartedly, and there seems to be a conspiracy behind every misfortune that happens in the world, whereas a large group of people dismiss them out of hand, even when there's overwhelming evidence that they actually exist.
Right, because as we said, either there are conspiracy theories because we've proven there have been some serious conspiracies.
Yes, and the people who discount conspiracies out of hand will often say, you know, 3 can keep a secret if 2 are dead. And they'll say there's just no way to keep that many people quiet about something. And yet we find out with things like the Gulf of Tonkin incident that they kept that secret for 40 years.
That was a big one.
And that was a huge criminal conspiracy at the top of the government. And then, you know, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, which again went undetected for decades.
And here's the thing too, one of the conspiracies is obviously about the information and the internet. People think we have all the information now, so we will know the truth. But when you go online to look up your particular conspiracy or to debunk it, you always find what confirms your beliefs.
Absolutely. It's a common psychological phenomenon, confirmation bias, not just with conspiracies, but with pretty much everything in life. We tend to see evidence that confirms what we already believe about the world. And we kind of subconsciously filter out evidence that contradicts our worldview, you know?
Which, for writers of thrillers and conspiracies, really, that's like a gift, because that's what we need to pull off these twists.
That's right.
Like in your book, The Trinity Game, and then the upcoming Devil's Game, you really roll in with the whole conspiracy wagon.
Yeah, so in The Trinity Game, there's this crooked televangelist preacher. He's a con artist, but he does this fake speaking in tongues routine. And at some point in his life, he seems to have lost control of this thing. And now the tongues are just happening to him. Whether he's going crazy or has a brain tumor or what, we don't know, but he seems to be predicting the future. So the Vatican sends an investigator to discredit him. But what we also find is that there are the other groups that are pulling the strings behind the scenes, that influencing world affairs. And in the next book, in The Devil's Game, we actually go into a conspiracy that I found fascinating when I found it on the internet. There are millions of people around the world who genuinely believe that the government is beaming voices into their heads. They've got lobby groups, they petition on the mall and hand out pamphlets to get people to they're trying to get Congress to pass a law saying that the government shouldn't be allowed to beam voices into people's heads, which sounds so crazy. And there are chapters all over the world lobbying other governments.
Now, my reaction to that is, okay, nuts.
Right.
How could that possibly
They're
be
absolutely
true?
crazy. They're having auditory hallucinations because they're crazy and they're giving it a name. And then you find it's true. It's not necessarily true that the government's doing this, but the Air Force did develop a microwave weapon that beams voice into people's heads. They tested it and they patented it. But I have no idea whether anybody's actually using it or not. But the fact that it exists is shocking to me because I thought even the idea of it was crazy, that you could have such a weapon. And there is such a weapon.
How do you work with that, though, in your book? When you have this insane conspiracy theory that might be true?
Well, I think it actually gives you a lot of latitude, especially if your protagonist, if the person whose eyes you're seeing this unfold doesn't believe it. You know, he's a skeptic. He doesn't believe that. That's crazy. And then when he's confronted with the freedom of information releases of government documents, he has to reevaluate his entire worldview, and he has to think about the fact that he's got his own confirmation bias, that he's not seeing things because he doesn't believe in them, not because there isn't evidence to support them.
Thank you so much. Chercover, author of The Trinity Game. This has been so much fun.
Oh, thank you. It was great fun.
All right, I'm S.G. Redling. This is Kindle Most Wanted.